special education kids. So in that class, a lot of the time we'll do, various things. Like one of the things we do is called a snowball fight, where we give all the kids a little sticky note, and we write 1 through 6 on there. And then they have to have a snowball fight where they have to throw that piece of paper at 3 different people, and then they pick up a piece of paper, they sit down, and then the groups are completely and totally random. So it's because sometimes you do have the special education kids being chosen last. So we do mix it up. In the academic support classes, we do some of the same. And there are actually times when we group them ourselves.
Yeah, however you group is up to you. The point is, every time you do centers, it's a new group.
Yes.
That's all. However you group.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead. I was going to say, this is getting to be
we're getting close. But this is basically our scores. Last year's group, not the class of 2014, our 8th grade group, this is where this was our 8th grade scores from 2006, and then the year we implemented centers fully, our scores. But this is the number of students who are proficient in advanced. So we're looking at almost like 29% of our students are scoring basic and below basic in reading, which is huge for our district. I know, you say 30%, but that is huge. And our special ed population, this is what happened to their scores. Okay? So even though they're not scoring as the regular ed population is scoring, they're still increasing their skills by far. And our growth, we also in Pennsylvania have a growth model where they say how many years of growth did these students have. And we have been in more than a year of growth ever since we've been doing this. And this next slide you don't have because it's brand new. We're just getting these scores in.
What's the preliminary?
Yeah, and these are the raw scores. We basically got students in a spreadsheet, and we just did this based off of that. This year's 8th grade class, and this is the second year we fully implemented this. Last year, 58% of them were proficient advanced in the 7th grade. This year, 68% of them. And what we're finding is the other classes that are doing this, like our 7th grade reading started doing this year, they're at 72% proficient in advanced, and last year they were at 58%.
Last year was the first year that we had full buy-in.
Yes.
Every middle school class, every math class, math and reading classes did centers.
Yes.
They did them at least once every 2 weeks. We had, our scores were coming back year after year, and people who were kind of on the fence, and this looks like a lot of work, and I don't know, all of a sudden they could not ignore it anymore. Right.
Our 8th grade group is the only group in the center, 8th grade math, who have not done centers, and the difference in the scores are astounding. Our 7th grade math grade group, who have done centers, they're at 74% proficient in advanced this past year. So, it really has trying to start to categorize our centers now more based on Bloom's taxonomy, where we're having, different levels of learning. So eventually I'd like to get to the point where we even labeled it, is this knowledge base, is this, synthesizing, what is it? So we can really start to hit all levels more thoroughly. We really have built up technology. We have smart boards now, and we've even talked about creating them on the smart board where they can manipulate them on the screen. Our academic support curriculum, we really, some teachers are doing interactive activities, some teachers aren't, so we really would like to tighten that up a bit, become a little more prescriptive, and then also, try to spread these practices throughout our school, outside of our school.
Yeah. I hope that you walk away with this and are able to say, okay, this is what I have and here's how I can do it. And if not, like I said, one of the packets you have, go back to your schools, photocopy that, photocopy it 5 times, and just, everyone's doing the same center at one time. If you do it on your table, if you're able to do it on a board, but really you'll see, at least to see right away, what's the involvement, what's the engagement like? Is this something worth my time to invest and work it and, make these centers? And I think you'll be really surprised at how quickly your kids jump into it.
And centers is a process, not a product. So, the centers we create are just based on information that we already had in the classroom. It's not something we bought special, not something we went out and purchased as a group. It's not something that we ever, obviously, for copyright reasons, are ever going to sell. But it is something that you take and you just make a worksheet, and now we see a center in everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really.
I was just going to say, there's no question of the effectiveness. As teachers, can you explain to us how you guys work together to say, here's our objective, how are we gonna make this work together as a team for the class?
Well, for the two of us, we are really opposite personalities. So it wasn't an easy mesh. It really wasn't. I was ADHD as a young child, very hyperactive, moving around all the time, and, my desk, everything is everywhere. She is completely opposite, OCD. Everything has to be in the very same place. And what we found is that we complemented each other. Because as I came up with these ideas, she was like, well, this is the structure. We're going to organize it. We have boxes in the back with all the labels of the standards. So
she would create a standard and throw it in the corner, it's bagged up, we're done. And I'm like, let's put it in a box, let's label the box, let's label. When I talked about labeling the bags, that was me. She was like, zip closed, we're done with it. I was like, no, how many pieces are in it? Do we have an answer key for it? What standard is this? That was, co-teaching, we really had to find the balance.
Yes.
And when we teach, we do cut each other off.
And
we do step on each other's toes.
We're like this now.
Yes, that's exactly what we do. Or, worse yet, we're the only ones laughing at our own jokes. And the kids are like, you guys are so corny and we think we're so
And Mr.
hilarious.
Olson is even worse. He's more corny than we are. But we really, nothing is ever perfect, and and who used to be our special education supervisor used to say co-teaching is like a marriage. You're going to have ups and downs, and when you work together, you're going to have good times and bad times, and we have had both. And we have become friends over the course of this. We really appreciate each other, and we respect each other's professional abilities, and personally, our families have become close. So it really has been a good experience for all involved.
We did. We don't anymore. Yes, we did have the same conference time. I will say when she first came to me with centers, she said, I have this idea. We won't have to use this book. It's this stuff. It's this. I have this. It's all in my head. And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. It is all you. The first 3 times we did centers, she completely created it, completely put it together, walked into the room and told me what to do. And that's how it works.
And now I would say she's better at it than I am at this point. Because, you gotta understand, she has an English degree. I am certified in reading and math, but I don't have a reading degree, so she really...
I know you guys have other, we'll stay back outside and answer questions, but I know the next one has to stay. So thank you very much, you guys. Thank you.